What's up, Gear Mortals? Trey Xavier here, and on today's edition of Gear Gods Quality Control, we're going to be taking a look at mini noise gate pedals. So I just moved into my new apartment, which is actually in a very old building, and so what that means is that the wiring is also very old, and here's a problem that I'm experiencing. My guitar is making this really nasty buzzing sound when I'm playing through a high gain amp. I'm looking at getting it fixed very soon, but I figured in the meantime I'd take advantage of the problem and use the opportunity to test out these 4 mini gate pedals. 3 of these pedals are noise gate pedals, whereas the 4th one, the Rocktron Hush Micro, is actually a noise reduction pedal. So we're going to see how well these pedals work in keeping your signal nice and quiet. A noise gate works by only letting sounds over a certain threshold of volume through. Now, what that means is, once the gate is open, you can hear all the sound that's coming through your signal. It can't differentiate between noise and signal coming from your guitar. So, once it cuts off, it cuts out all sound entirely. Now, the Rocktron Hush is meant to reduce the noise in the signal that's there all the time. So they're not really the same thing, but they're both kind of important to have on your pedal board if you're playing in a noisy place. Because this pedal board we're putting together is a fly rig pedal board, you know, you take it with you to go play a gig, you're playing on a strange amp, you're playing in a venue that might be unfamiliar, might have dirty power, might be really noisy. You're going to have a couple different ways to deal with that noise. You want to be able to have a nice quiet rig for when you're playing loud. We're going to do 3 different types of tests for each pedal. Number 1, the tightness test. So when you're playing riffs that are really tight and have a lot of space in between, you want those spaces to be as silent as possible without choking off the beginning or end of what you're actually playing. Number 2, we're going to take a look at the sustain of a chord. So I'm going to just play one chord and I'm going to let it ring out. And we're going to see as the chord decays when it cuts off the signal, if it's going to cut your chords short or not. And then number 3, we're going to do the same thing with a lead note, one sustained note for a long time, and see how it performs under these conditions. All right, so now having spent a bunch of time with each of these pedals, I'm going to talk about them in a little bit of detail. Now, the Joyo Gate of Khan from their Ironman series, aside from just looking like an adorable little toy with some eyes and a tiny nose for a threshold, doesn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, it's one knob and the on-off switch. So you can't dial in things like the attack and release and all of that. You can only dial in the threshold. Now, the threshold, of course, is the most important of all the parameters for a gate. It just, it sets the level at which it opens and closes. Now, the other parameters in terms of how fast the gate opens, how long it holds open, and how soon it closes are also very important. And of course, in such a compact size, you can't necessarily get all of that stuff. But it did a pretty good job for just one knob. I mean, you saw it's no slouch and real tiny. So that's cool. Now, up next we have the slightly larger Mooer pedal, the Noise Killer. This one has a threshold knob, and then it also has this switch that gives you a hard or soft effect. So typically, when you have a hard or soft, it's basically just a faster or a slower gate. A soft gate it has more of a slope when you hit the note rather than a fast up and down, brutal gate. So for the tight stuff, this was a lot better because you could dial it in that hard gate. So for like fast clipped, kind of rhythm guitar, this one was, I think, performed a bit better. Although it's a bit larger than the other two gate pedals, it's also very light, so keep that in mind. Now the Hotone or Hot One gate, I still haven't figured out exactly how to say it. I don't know. But this is the Skyline series gate from them, and this one has easily the most stuff going on. It's got a sensitivity knob, which is the same as the threshold, and then which of course this one is just marked with 1 through 10 numbers, whereas this one has decibel numbers on it, if that matters to you. This one was not marked in any way, aside from having 2 little dots for eyes. So this one has a sensitivity or threshold knob, and then it's got something that says cut on it. Okay, so the cut gives you also kind of a hard, soft gate thing, but then it's got these knobs, and basically what that does is, so think of it like this. Your whole signal coming out of your guitar covers a large frequency range. Now, low signals and high signals travel at different speeds and also just kind of do different things. So for instance, if you palm mute a chord, it sort of brings out that bass frequency. So your gate might react differently for different things that you play. Now, the guitar kind of lives in that mid-range frequency. So essentially what you're doing here is you're telling the gate to sort of ignore those high and low frequencies. You can cut out from between 40 and 120 and 5K and 15K. So it's a high and low cut, but it doesn't cut out those frequencies from the signal that's coming through. It just listens to them or doesn't. So that might seem a little complex, but you just basically, it just makes it work a little bit better depending on how you play. So very cool. Also, almost the second most, well, actually, this one is the most compact of the bunch by a very small amount. This is the Rocktron Micro Hush. The folks at Rocktron wanted to make absolutely certain that I let you know that this is not a gate pedal, okay? It's not like these other ones. It does not gate anything out. This is a noise reduction pedal. Now, that being said, it kind of did like a really good job of being a gate. I mean, I know that's not really what it does, but it took that buzz and that hum out so well that it kind of worked like a gate. Now, what I would actually like to do with this is to use it in conjunction with a gate. Pull out that buzzy, line noise before it gets to the gate. So it can so it has less crap to deal with, basically. The size of the thing makes it so that you could put this on just about any board without sacrificing a bunch of space, and don't have to turn it on unless you get to a venue and there's this buzz, you can't get rid of it, it's time to go on, there's nothing for you to do, you can't eliminate the ground loop or whatever. So just pop this bad boy on and it's gonna do a really good job of getting rid of it. It's not perfect, it's not a magic bullet, it's just really, really good. So, highly recommended. Now, moment of truth, I have to choose one of these 3 gates to go on my pedal board. Now, I like to play a lot of tight, choppy rhythm, so I need something that's gonna be really good and tight. These 2 did a pretty good job, a lot better than nothing, that's for damn sure. And this one I think was, for that, this one's better than this. This one's good, it's just really simple. I need more parameter controls. And this one's got a little bit more, but the amount of control that you can get out of this little guy is very impressive, and it looks like a tiny robot man. So you can't go wrong with the Hotone, or possibly Hot One, Skyline gate. Really dig this one. This one's going on my board, which pretty soon I'm gonna have to do a video showing you the whole board, how it is coming together. This is the last of the shootouts. I have a couple more pedals that I want to talk about in another video, and then I'll show you a video of the whole thing, and I'm gonna actually try playing it like, in a video live and see how it works. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe for more reviews and original content, and I will see you very soon.